Yeah, give me a well, I'll wait for people to fall in here. My Wi-Fi kind of sucks a little bit. Hey everybody. If you can do me a favor and give me a thumbs up emoji if you can hear me. You guys know that I like to do that while I pin this comment here that I always struggle to do. There we go. If y'all can hear me, could you please give me a thumbs up emoji? And if you can hear me well. Walaikum salam. Alright, I see the thumbs up emojis. I'm just gonna, this is gonna be really quick because I went live yesterday on Proud to be Black. But what I wanted to talk about today that's really been bothering me is the loss of integrity and standing on what you believe. A lot of people, we all want to be successful. For the most part, there's a lot of people and they want success, myself included. I want success, but I feel like the day and age that we live in is that we compromise our morals and our ethics for said success, and that's what I have a huge problem with. Earlier today, I was irritated because someone that I used to follow, they, wanted just to sidestep what facts are, and pretend like those type of things don't exist, for personal gain. And I feel like that's just a cowardly thing to do. I just feel like that's a very cowardly thing to do, and I don't know, you guys. I'm just gonna talk about it. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and recently Terry Crews, I saw an article that said that he was made to apologize for emphasizing the importance of having a father figure in the household. I don't even know why someone would think that that's necessary to apologize about, but apparently, the world we live in, it's bad to say that a father figure is necessary in the household, right? It's despicable and it's disgusting that people will really just fold. No one stands on what they say anymore. If it's going to propel your career forward, you're going to turn a blind eye to what is detrimental to your own people. And I really can't stand that. I really can't stand that at all. We have to do better as a people. We have to. We have to stop with this oh well, I gotta get it how I can, and sidestepping everything that we should be working towards. We should be able to turn down a little bit of personal gain for the betterment of all of our people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying things. I'm not just saying things that I don't do. You feel me? The Convert Your Closet Challenge is not something that I'm making money off of. Considering the following that I have, so to speak, the followers, I don't even like saying that, but consider the people that follow me and my engagements. My engagements are crazy. I could easily be I could be taxing for posts. You feel me? I could really be taxing. And every time a post go up, I'd be charging somebody $100 or whatever the case may be. You feel me? In addition to getting free products. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm sacrificing my own personal gain for the betterment of the whole. This company right now, let me open this up and show y'all. It say Black Power, and it's by, I've just took some pictures in this today, and it's by this brand called Civilly Righteous. Everybody that I've worn stuff for, I haven't gotten any payments for that. I've gotten nothing for it because the purpose of it isn't for me to get paid, but it's to show Black-owned businesses, because a lot of times we say oh, we don't know where they are, or we don't know where to find them, or whatever the case may be. If you got a business, you let me know about it. You feel me? And I will for free. I could easily be taxing is the point that I'm making, but it's just not even about me. It's about how a lot of people just do not have any type of integrity whatsoever, no sense of morality. They will legit throw away all ethics, will turn a blind eye to something that's blatantly happening for personal gain. And I just can't get with it. Like, one of the things that I saw today that bothered me was someone that I used to follow to ask the question about whether or not there was a gay agenda. Like, what is this gay agenda that we're talking about, right? Now, mind you, this isn't to say that it's not anything negative in regards to the LGBTQ movement. But I can't negate the fact that there is an agenda to demasculate black men. There is an agenda because we see all over social media the black men that are the ones that are successful are the ones who are parading around as women, the ones who are wearing dresses and stuff like that and acting ghetto. And as a black woman, to be 100% honest, that is very what's the word I'm looking for? That's very insensitive to us as black women. Like, we as black women are the ones who sit up and like laugh at that, but it's legit black men in blackface in a sense. Like, I don't want to see an exaggerated depiction of a stereotypical ghetto black girl. I damn sure don't want to see a black man acting that way. Like, the world already paints black women as these angry ghetto women who is loud and all that type of stuff, and then our men get on social media and perpetuate that same stereotype that we're trying to get away from, and they call it comedy, and we don't have the common sense to be like, nah, this is wrong. And if I do say something about it, if I do say I don't like that, I don't want to see a man acting like me but exaggerating it to reinforce negative stereotypes about me, I'm homophobic now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't get this world. It's really crazy to me, and for some reason I just honestly feel like I don't belong. And this isn't some old depressed stuff. Like, I'm not about to do anything harmful to myself, but I don't feel like I fit in here, because things that seem like it should make sense just don't. They just don't make sense. You could present someone with all the facts, all the logical information in the world, and they will still find a way to sidestep your facts for their stupid opinions. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that we see this so much. We see black men who are blackballed for not wearing a dress, and we pretend like there's no type of agenda. Like, how could you even fix your lips to say, like, nah, what is there? What agenda is there? You mean to tell me you don't recall when Dave Chappelle turned down all that money and didn't put on a dress and went to Africa, and the whole world painted him as this crazy crackhead? Had lost his mind. Dave Chappelle went crazy. He in Africa minding his own business, and then he get word that the media is ripping him to shreds. You know, we don't think that there's some sort of agenda. Everybody that talks about it, everyone that says something about it, they are ridiculed and they're blackballed. So I understand you not wanting to say something about it, but at the same time, you have to have more backbone than that. You have to. You feel me? I'm a woman and I have more backbone than that. You know? Like, you have to. You can't just sit up and just pretend like we can't see what's going on. Like, do you guys see that? Am I the only one who think it's an issue that black men will perpetuate the negative stereotypes and reinforce the same stereotypes that we as black women are trying to get away from and call it comedy? And if I don't like it, if I say I don't want to see a man in a dress, I don't want to see him acting like a woman because it is reinforcing the same stereotypes that I'm trying to get away from, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. We don't realize that we're watching modern day minstrel shows done by our own black men. You know? It's crazy to me. And then people's like, what agenda? No, there's no agenda that exists. Are you serious? Come on, bruh. Like, don't pretend like you don't see what's going on. Don't sell your soul just yet. You ain't even got, like, come on. You don't see what's happening in this world. Like, I just don't get it. And I'm just be sitting up wondering, like, how are people okay with being so spineless? Like, how are you okay with that? Like, my dad didn't let us He didn't let me get away with stuff like that. I couldn't say things and then back out of what I say and be like, oh, I didn't mean that. Or I couldn't just go with the flow. I had to have my own mind. I had to have my own opinions. And I had to stick by what I say, which is why I'm not in the business of apologizing. Because we say freedom of speech in this country, but let somebody say something that a certain group don't like. Now you got to apologize. You have to apologize. You have to just make it so known that I'm going to buckle and I'm going to bend so that you can progress in your career or whatever the case may be. Like, it's despicable and it's disgusting, It's despicable and it's disgusting. And I mean, and I just want to know, for any people that are online and are watching this right now, and you are a part of the LGBTQ community, please let me know, like, what is considered homophobia. Let me know, because it seems like anything that you guys don't like is homophobic. That's what it seems like to me. I said something about straight black men in relationships as it pertains to us, because I can't speak on gay black men because I don't deal with them. I don't get in relationships with gay black men because I'm a straight black woman. So all I can speak on is what I deal with. So I can't speak on homosexuality because I'm not a homosexual, right? So someone had the nerve to tell me, because I said things about straight black men and straight black women, because that's what pertains to me, because that's my sexual preference, that I'm homophobic. Somebody let me know. Is anybody in the LGBTQ community in the comments to let me know what homophobia is? Because I keep getting accused of it because I say something that you guys might not agree with, or you think that it might have some sort of undertone, or whatever the case may be. Let me be clear about one thing. I don't have to dance around anything. I'm not that type of person where I have to dance around what I'm trying to say and all of that. If I have something to say, I say it, because my father would not let me be any other way. I'm not people who be like, oh, so I saw your video today, and I'm like, okay, and it was very, it was very different. All right, and get to the point. Like, I didn't have the luxury of being that type of person. I had to just say what it was. So I'm not the type of person who says one thing and insinuates something else. So you don't have to sit up and try to read into my posts and stuff. Is she taking jabs? No, I'm not taking jabs. If I was taking jabs, I'd be very clear. And if I was talking to you, I'd be very clear, like I'm being clear now. Anyone in the LGBTQ community, let me know. I just want to have an idea of what you all think homophobia is. Because now it seems like it's everything that y'all don't like. You feel me? I can disagree with something without having to accept it as my own. And that doesn't mean that it makes another person any less than. I'm a straight black woman. And that's what I do with my life and my personal time. Just because I'm not out campaigning for y'all doesn't make me homophobic. You feel me? And honestly, that's the reason why there's a lot of people saying that it's a gay agenda, because we be the ones just trying to live our life. And y'all deal with who you deal with. I don't care who you are, what your sexual preference is. I don't care who you want to be with or anything like that. Like, that's not my concern. I got bigger things that I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about is how we can build a nation of our own. What I'm thinking about is getting black people as a whole. It don't matter if you're gay, straight, trans, Muslim, Christian, Moor, man, woman, child. I don't care what you are. If you black, my purpose is to get us into a better place as a people, because we as a whole, despite our little trivial differences, are disenfranchised in this country, and that bothers me personally. So while I'm sitting up minding my own business, not even thinking about who you with, you come into my comments like, I don't hear you talking about the gay community. I mean, do I have to? I'm talking about black people. I thought that encompasses us all. And why would I speak on something that I have no knowledge of? But I guess if I don't, I'm homophobic, right? I don't know, man. It just seems like, and then people have to apologize. Like, we're bullied into apologizing and tiptoeing and walking on eggshells. And what's crazy is that black people have been the most disrespected people in this country since its conception. Since America started, black people have been suffering. Since they came over here from England and established New England, you feel me, we have been suffering in this country. Yet no one walks on eggshells when it comes to us. You feel me? If you do something to offend black people, Oh, well, F you niggas. That's how the whole world look at it. You do something to offend black people. And actually, these companies are doing more stuff to offend us because they know that we're going to post about it on social media and it's going to create marketing buzz for them. Like, we can't be so crass as to think that Prada, Gucci, and Burberry, all of them was an accident. Like, they accidentally, oops, I made a mistake. We released this sweater. We released this hoodie with a noose. We released these blackface trinkets. Oh, it was a mistake. My bad. No, nigga, I know what it is. You feel me? I have a business too. I know good marketing when I see it. You know, I was once told that there's no such thing as bad publicity. So if they're going to be in the news, they're going to be in the news. And the only thing that's going to happen is that we going to talk about it for a little bit. And then white people who really, really rock with all that racist stuff is going to have a more undying loyalty to these brands. So they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. So in this country, offending black people is a marketing scheme. No one's walking on eggshells when it comes to us, but we, the most oppressed group in this country, that have been the most oppressed group since the country started, no one walks on eggshells when it comes to us. You can say anything about us. You can make a mockery of who we are. You know what I'm saying? You can prove me wrong if you think what I'm talking about is a lie. I implore you. You hate us, but you love our culture and you profit off of that. And nothing happens. We don't get any type of compensation whatsoever. All these other people have gotten reparations and all these things to atone for the mistakes of this country. But black people who've been suffering the longest out of anybody, we get nothing except for us to have to police what we say and walk on eggshells. Niggas need to be walking around eggshells with us because we're the ones who are suffering the most. We're the ones who's having to say Black Lives Matter because it seemed like the world doesn't know that. You feel me? We're the ones who's having to march and protest because the police are killing us at a disproportionate rate. And not only that, are getting off. No one's going to jail for it. I don't see that happening in the feminist or the LGBTQ community. Of course, discrimination happens, but the biggest issues is someone saying something homophobic and having to apologize for it. While we over here making sure we do everything we can to not get shot by the police. I'm just fed up, you feel me? And I'm not the type of person to walk on eggshells. I'm not the type of person to police what I say when I know for a fact we, black people as a whole, are the most disenfranchised people in this country. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people pretending like we need to just sit down and shut up. The crazy thing is that we as black people don't even know the extent of the damage that was done to us, which is why so many of us are just pretending like, oh, it's not a big deal. Slavery is over. No, it's not. Slavery is not over, first of all. First of all, slavery has morphed into the prison industrial complex. I'm going to give you guys some facts. And like I always say, if you don't believe what I'm talking about, good. Go look it up and prove me wrong if you think what I'm talking about is a lie. I implore you to go fact check me because this is a fact that I'm about to tell you. China is huge, right? It has approximately 1 billion more people than the United States. It's huge. The United States doesn't even have 1 billion people, but China in its hugeness has about 1 billion more than we do, right? China, with its 1 billion more people, has less prisoners than the state of Louisiana by itself. Louisiana alone has more prisoners than all of China. You feel me? And let me look at these comments before I go further because I'm gonna go in, but I just want to see what y'all saying because I did ask questions. Let's see. Nah, sis, intersectionality. We're not the most oppressed trans men. Stop it. Stop. That's not true, bruh. Nah, sis, intersectionality. I'm not for intersectionality. Before anything else, I'm black. Okay? You can feel how you want to feel, but me personally, I know what the facts are. You feel me? If I could try to attach myself to all these other different movements. I could try to attach myself to the LGBTQ movement. I could try to attach myself to feminism, but when shit hits the fan, I'm going to be swiftly reminded by this country that I'm black first. Didn't we not just see this happen with Jussie Smollett? You feel me? I'm not saying that what he did is right, or I don't even know the whole facts of the situation. Like, it has yet to come out. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I mean, that's not what it is. But anyway, let me go on. Somebody said China in an effed up situation. It's not about China's situation. Even if they are in an effed up situation, they still don't have as many people incarcerated as we do, and they have 1 billion more people than we do. You feel me? How does Louisiana, the state of Louisiana by itself, have more inmates than China as a whole? And we don't think that slavery is still going on. Slavery is still going on. Slavery still exists. It's morphed into the prison industrial complex. And then, in addition to that, we as black people are still in mental slavery, and we don't even know it. We don't even know it. We don't even know like the extent of the damage that was done to us. It's the reason why it's so hard for us to get along with each other. It's so hard for us to really vibe and work with each other, because we don't. Like, just think about it. I want you guys just to visualize real quick, and then I'm gonna get off of here, because I don't want to be on here too long, but it's just like, it's craziness to me. But just think about this. Like, if you are a young child growing up, what you're seeing on the daily basis, you wake up in the morning and the masters or the overseers are making an example out of, say, your uncle, right? He did something that he wasn't supposed to do, apparently, and they have him tied to 4 horses. Now, they make everybody watch as they whip the horses, so the horses run in separate directions, and pull him apart. And you see this. And then you have to go on living. And then the next week, your mom, you might be around her. The master comes in, make you leave, and you hear her screaming as he rapes her. And then the next week after that, it might be your sister. And then the next week after that, it might be you. How do we live like that? How do our ancestors suffer 400 years of this, and we think that we okay mentally? These soldiers go to war, and they're gone for 4 years maybe. They might be in 2 years of combat, but they come back with post-traumatic stress syndrome, right? They come back messed up. They need help. They need counseling. But we think that after 400 years of seeing the worst atrocities this planet has ever seen, that we're okay as a people. We think it ain't nothing wrong with our minds. Having to see that. I don't even like watching scary movies because I don't like seeing gore. Like, I'm not a scary movie type of person. But the things that we saw in slavery, the things that our ancestors watched on the daily basis, is the absolute worst atrocities that have ever happened in this world. There was a slave owner in Louisiana. Her name was Madame LaLaurie. If you don't believe me, like I said, fact check me. Her name is Madame LaLaurie. In Louisiana, she used to keep slaves chained up in the attic. One slave they found with a hole drilled in his head. And she had cut off the limbs, cut off the legs, and just let that slave bleed out, just bleed to death for days. Another slave was chained up next to that slave, and that slave had his stomach cut open, and she had pulled out his intestines and wrapped it around his waist like a belt and just left him to die like that. You feel me? And we think that is not wrong with us. We don't think that we are still dealing with the effects. Let me tell you guys something, because I like I said before, I'm really into biology and genetics, right? And there's things called epigenetic markers. And traumas get passed down because it's a way to help her survive. If our ancestors saw something traumatic, that traumatic event was then encoded into their DNA so that the next generation would be able to learn from that and survive. So we would see people get beat and get ripped apart and get raped and all those type of things for doing something that they weren't supposed to do, right? So it changed our genetics, you guys, To the point where we did not speak up against these things because we knew if we did that there was a punishment. And those epigenetic markers get passed down from generation to generation. Fear is inherited. And we inherited a lot of fear from our ancestors. So while we're sitting up in this country thinking everything is hunky-dory and we can just assume whatever movement that we want to, we really have to understand that we have so much to recover from mentally as a people. As a black woman, the reason why black women have such a hard time trusting black men is because how could we? How could we in that time? A man's role is to protect and provide, right? That's what a man wants to do innately. Innately, he wants to protect and provide. You don't have to, it don't matter if you gay or straight. There's just something inside of you that makes you want to protect and provide for the people that you love, right? If you are a real man. So how are you able to do that? You know, when you're in the bed with your wife and the master come in and tell you to get out so he can have sex with her. And so when your husband, me as a black woman, when my husband comes back into the little cot that we in, how can I look at him as my protector, my provider? I had to become a strong, independent black woman because no one was I had to look out for myself. And if my husband did try to do something, they would kill him. And I didn't want that to happen either. So as a black woman, I had to raise my sons to be docile because I didn't want them murdered. And I had to raise my daughters to be strong. So our roles were naturally reversed. You feel me? So the point I'm making is there's a lot for us to recover from as a people. You feel me? And we have to stop pretending like this society is on our side. It hasn't been on our side since we got here. Like, I don't understand how we could think that a people who brought us here solely to use us is going to try to rectify the wrongs. Like, they're not. And we can't just jump on whatever it is they're talking about and pretend like we don't see these blatant things right in our face, you guys. Like, we can't. And we have to understand, I'm not saying that we are a weak-minded people, because you have to be mentally strong to endure that. It's like a gift and a curse. To see all that, it is inherited traumas that we all suffer from as black people in America. But at the same time, to see all that and not lose your mind and not go insane is a whole nother level of strength and resilience. That's the reason why black people, we can be struggling for years. We can be depressed and we keep going because our minds were made stronger throughout this ordeal. You feel me? But even though our minds were made stronger throughout this ordeal and we're able to withstand a lot, we're able to withstand so much in this world, we still have to go back and fix those inherited traumas. We can't pretend like they don't exist. And we can't pretend like this society is not pushing things on us to eliminate us from the population, you guys. I'm not being cynical or anything like that. It's just the truth of the nature, you know? It's the truth. Like, everything, and I don't want to seem cynical, but legit everything is really stacked against us at this point. And we can change it by being aware of what's going on and choosing to live differently, choosing to just not think about myself and my bottom line and what's going to pad my pockets, but thinking as our people as a whole, you know what I'm saying, as a whole, collectively, you know. And this is not to exclude or alienate anybody, because that's not what I'm about. You feel me? That's not what I'm about at all. But let's just bypass all of our little minor differences, you know, and stop calling me names and like putting these labels on me just because I refuse to bend or buckle or fold. I'm just not going to do it. And if you can't get with that, then maybe my page is not for you. You feel me? I'm not for everyone. You know, there are people who come to my page and comment like, oh, if a white person said that, they would be considered racist. I don't even respond to that. It's just delete, block. You feel me? Because I'm not for you. I'm not here for white consumption, to be 100% honest. That's not what I'm here for. And if what I say rubs you the wrong way, and if you feel like I'm being, you know, disingenuous, or if I'm being hateful or whatever the case may be, then I'm not for you. That's perfectly fine. But I'm not going to stop saying what I need to say. You know, I'm not going to stop saying how I feel. And what I'm damn sure not going to do is bend under the weight of this world trying to make me spineless. Like, nah, that's not what I'm going to do. So that's all I have to say. Let's just focus on getting, like, really just when things are happening in our lives and we're wondering why we're reacting a certain way. We as Black women, when we're feeling like we can do everything ourselves and we don't need anybody, let's check ourselves and think where that mentality comes from. And Black men, you know what I'm saying, the same thing. See where the mentalities that you have come from, because we have a lot of things to heal. There's so much psychosocial indoctrination. I posted on my story today about the map and how Africa's in the center of the map, because whatever's in the center of a flat map that's supposed to replicate a globe or a round object, whatever's in the center of the map is going to appear the smallest, right? So everything that we see, down to the maps, to how we're represented throughout history. A lot of times they only bring us up when slavery started, as if our history isn't millions of years old. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is just do your due diligence. And if you don't vibe with what I'm saying, good. Be mad enough to go research it for yourself. If I don't do anything, maybe I've upset you enough to go look up what I'm saying so that you can learn for yourself. But let's just be proactive in healing ourselves, because we all, in some degree, suffer from psychosocial indoctrination. And it doesn't make you weak to acknowledge that. Like, you have to acknowledge it in order to fix it. I had to acknowledge the fact that maybe I'm a little bit too abrasive because it's something that I inherited from my ancestors, in order to have a functional relationship where I didn't emasculate the man I was with. I had to come to that realization. I had to say, you know what? I come off as a know-it-all. Sometimes I get at people like they stupid and I know everything, because that's an inherited thing. We as Black women had to handle everything. So maybe, just maybe, I can realize that fact and relinquish some of that control so that I can have a functional relationship and I can allow the man that I'm with to be a man. That's pretty much all I have to say. Let me look in these comments and answer some of these questions, if there's any questions. I thank you all who are saying that you feeling what I'm saying. I appreciate you all. What was the slave owner's name? The one who was pulling people's intestines out and wrapping around their waist like a belt? Her name was Madame LaLaurie, and she was out of Louisiana. That was her name. American Horror Story actually replicated a little bit of what she did, but she was exponentially worse. She used to chain her slaves to the appliances that they were supposed to be, like her cook. She chained her to the stove, and the cook, that's actually how they found out what she was doing, because the cook didn't want to live anymore, and she set the whole house on fire, killing herself and all the slaves inside. That's how that story ends. And I know this is very dark, but someone has to tell us what happened. You feel me? Someone has to tell us what happened, because the world is trying to erase their wrongs and not even acknowledge what happened, the wrongs that occurred. It was just so foul. It's worse than any horror movie that anybody could conjure up, what our people endured. And the world is telling us to get over it because slavery is over, as if we are not still suffering under systematic oppression and psychosocial indoctrination. So let's just research so that we can become better. Understand that we have these inherited traumas, and it's not to make you feel inferior or to make you feel like something's wrong with you, but just know that we have to deal with it. We can't just pretend like it doesn't exist. If we're really going to love and trust each other, we have to get to the root of why we don't love and trust each other. We have to get to the root of it. The fact that there is rewards, for ratting on each other, for selling each other out. There's rewards for those type of things. So we still feel like that reward sensation was inherited. That's why we as Black people are so quick to jump down any Black person that's accused of doing wrong. Any Black person that's under scrutiny in the media. A lot of times it's us who initially will, try to show white people we can point out a bad one. Yeah, we know he's terrible, blah, 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 because we still seek their validation and their reward, because that was something that was established during slavery. The reason why we don't trust other races of people, like sometimes Black people say we got a problem with the Mexicans, because they were rewarded. They were rewarded money and land for catching slaves and returning them. So It's not to paint people in a bad light, but it's to understand the root of why we don't trust each other. You know? Like, you can't cut off the leaves of a tree and think you're going to kill it. You have to get to the root of the problem. And a lot of us as Black people look at the leaves and be like, okay, you know, we're cutting off a few racism leaves here and there, but the roots of the tree is still very, very much alive. And until we get to the root of the problem, the reason why we don't love each other, the reason why we don't trust each other, we will always have these issues. These issues will always persist. You feel me? So, yeah, all I'm saying is please be a person. Being a good person, like whether or not a person constitutes as a dope, in my mind, has nothing to do with how many followers you have. It has nothing to do with what other people say about you. It has nothing to do with how much money you have. If you have a big house, because those things don't impress me. I've dated men who've had multiple houses and cars. They've had Porsches and Benzes and all that type of stuff. And none of that matters to me. What constitutes as a good person is a person with a good heart. A person with a good heart and a person with integrity who stand behind what they say. They understand that word is bond. And bond is life, and I will give my life before my word shall fail. What happened to those type of principles? You know, what happened to being impeccable with your word? What happened to, you know, prioritizing things? What happened to not doing something that might be beneficial to you because you know it'll be detrimental to everybody else? What happened to that? You know, let's just get back to those principles and really learn to master self. And again, I'm going to say it. If you haven't read The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, please take time to read that book. If you really do want to become a better person, read that book, because it will change you if you are in the mindset to be changed. Okay. So that's all I have to say. I was just disheartened because I just see so many people, you know, selling out, and it's just like, I'd rather die like dead and broke than to sell my soul. You know, I don't know. I can't get with it. I can't get with it. I just can't. You feel me? It's not like, what is it that you gain the whole world and lose your soul? There's a scripture that says that. A man gains the whole world, but you lose your soul. And although a lot of times you might not be religious, you might not think you have a soul. There is something inside of you that's the essence of who you are, that's not attached to physicality, you know? And that part of you should stay clean. You should try to keep that clean and preserve it. But that's all I have to say. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. You feel me? You know, like I said, I'm not bending or I'm not folding or anything like that. But let's just have more good people in the world who stand behind morals and principles and are not afraid to stand on what they believe to be is true, you know? That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, sorry. The book, one more time, is let me pin it because you guys want to know what it is and I'm not even telling you. It's called The 4 Agreements. And it's a short book. It's not even like you can read it in a couple hours. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel. If I could spell Miguel right, is it E? Is U-E-L. Ruiz. It's a very, very good book. One of my favorites of all time. Let me pin this right quick. Hold on. Dang, what's going on? I think it's because I already got one pinned. Stop. Y'all know I'll be having trouble pinning comments. I'm really like having trouble pinning this comment right now.